It's going to be loud over there as well. Hello, little flow today. We're going to be doing some yoga, some Pilates. Hi, YouTube land. Welcome to Friday Flow on August 21st. We're going to just play around today, have some fun, see how this goes. If we love it, we're going to keep it starting in September. So invite your friends, get ready to move. I don't have any music today, nothing crazy. We're just going to get going, okay? So what I want you to keep in mind is to be a friend to your body and just feel good about it, all right? So we're going to start with some footwork today. I want you to start with parallel feet. We're just going to work from the ground up, if you will. Hands down by your sides. Let those hands just be relaxed. Shoulders are down and back. And I want you to lift and lower. Take a nice steady breath. So just connecting to the body, connecting to the earth, whatever you've been doing all week, whatever you've had going on even this morning. Just taking this moment here, lunchtime on Friday. Maybe this is your time to re-energize for the weekend ahead. Find your recreational wind, if you will, for the rest of the weekend. So just come into this space. We're lifting and lowering, getting some blood flow through the feet, feeling all of the bones of the foot. And then as you settle back into your heels this time, I want you to actually lift all 10 toes up. Good. And then settle them back down in. Lift up onto the heels, or lift off the heels, I should say. Lower back down, and then lift the toes. This is like my fourth workout today. So my body's like, hey, come on up off of those heels, settle the heels down, and then lift the toes. Settle the toes back down. So we're just playing with the foot one more time. Lift up into that releve, as we would call it in dance. Lower the heels back down, feeling the four corners of the feet. Lift the toes up, settle them back down. Wonderful. Now from here, I want you to bring the heels, click them in together. So a Pilates V. It should feel like your foot's spread out a little bit. If you readjusted your toes, you settled more into a first position of dance. I want you to come into a smaller slice of pie with your feet. You're going to lift up and then down. Now hands, we can start to warm up the shoulders, or you can keep those hands on your hips and just feel the balance if that's what you need today. Or you can lift up with the arms and float right back down. So just feel like you're levitating straight up through the ankle, straight back down. And just a little bit more here. Just getting that blood flow, creeping up into that leg a little bit more now. And settling in. Keep the heels together, heels on the floor. Bring the arms up into a middle position. Now you can make it very dancer-esque, or you can keep it solid, just straight arms in front. Depends on how you feel, right? You're going to bend. As you straighten the legs, take the arms out to the side. Feel those shoulder blades squeeze back towards the spine. And then you're going to pull into the center and out. So again, you can keep this more of a traditional movement, or you can make this more of the dancer's flow from that middle to the second. Okay, so whatever makes you feel better about it. You might hear some clicking and popping through knees, through ankles. That's okay, as long as it doesn't bring some acute sharp pain, you're good. And then from here, hold. Let's lift the heels up, bring the heels to touch. And now we're going to bend and straighten. Now again, you can keep those arms very straight, very standard. If you're a dude playing along with this, you might think, well, gosh, this feels like a plie. Well, it is, but you can call it something else if you like. Even if it is a plie, I'm sure it still is challenging your core and your balance, even if you are a heavy squatter. So grin and bear it. No mercy from me on that one. We're gonna have one more here. Now hold at the top, hold a little bit longer, take just one arm up, doesn't matter to me which one it is, and then you're gonna switch. And as you start to switch through the arms, we're trying to keep those feet alive, those legs strong, the core balanced, the shoulders relaxed, and we're breathing back and forth. Facebook, you might have my head cut off a little bit, but that's okay. I need to do my hair anyway. So listen, if this is your first time meeting me, or maybe you haven't worked out with me a lot, my name is Jamie, known as Reform Pilates Yoga now, and I am your average mom of 4 teenagers and 4 cats. So I don't glam this up, okay? But I can move you well. So let's go ahead and make our way onto the mat. We're gonna go to hands and knees first. Good. Settle in, hands directly under the shoulders, knees directly under the hips. Notice the feet. The feet are toes tucked under towards the shins. Good. Now what I want you to do is pull the heart through the windows of the arms and stick your tailbone up. So that's your traditional cow in yoga. And then on your exhale, I want you to tuck the tail under, roll the spine, draw the abdominals in like you're doing a flexion exercise and core work. And then inhale, bring your chest back through the windows of your arms, tailbone goes up. And then exhale, you draw your core up and in, tuck your tail under. So this is not a head banging contest, right? Like we often let our head kind of throw back, throw forward. I want you to think about leading the action through the core and through the tailbone. And we're going to add just a little bit to this. So when you inhale, as your chest is lifted, your tailbone's lifted, your toes are tucked under. I want you to switch it out so that as you exhale, you're going to press to the tops of your feet. Press, press, press to the tops of your feet. Feel how it gets a little bit deeper into that core. And then as you inhale, the toes tuck back under. Exhale, pull through, tops of the feet, press into the floor. You might feel a little deeper waist engagement. That's your transverse abdominis. That's a good thing. Inhale, lift the heart, shoulders are down and back. Exhale, we press into the tops of the feet, lift the core up and in. Inhale, switch the feet. And exhale, tuck. 2 more times. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, we tuck. Inhale, lift. And exhale, tuck. Good. From here, inhale, lift, tuck the toes under. Good. Press the hands into the earth like you're trying to pull your mat away or push your mat away from you and really sit back into those feet. For some of you, this may be uncomfortable. Don't press as hard, but try to stay in the shape of the foot. This foot shape is actually very good for nourishing the soles of your feet, which also speak to the pelvic floor of the body, which is up around the sits bones, pubic bone, and tailbone. Very, very important muscles if you're not familiar. Now from here, come forward, rock forward. And I want you to rock forward so that you can stretch the backs of your wrists. And then you're going to sit back into the heels again. So we're going to move through that flow. The inhale brings you into the wrist stretch. And the exhale brings you into the foot stretch. Inhale into the wrist stretch. And exhale to the foot. Drawing the core up and in. Refuse to be passive about the core here. So the belly button draws up and away from the thighs. Inhale into the wrist stretch. Exhale into the foot stretch. Hold here. Now you may choose to stay here or take your hands, walk them to your thighs, and sit up. And now you have a little bit more weight. And I've noticed my left foot's been a little crankier this week, and my left pinky toe right now is trying to stay out of the game. So I'm going to just encourage the pinky toes to be as a family unit there in the fold of the feet. And you might need to do the same thing, make some adjustments. So with here, we're going to go into a reverse wrist lock. So palms go together, fingers interlace, take the hands away, pinkies are going towards the sky, thumbs are going down, and you're going to hold here and breathe. Nice deep breaths in and out. Try to stay with the sensations of the foot. They might be talking to you right now, both of those feet, but just stay with the breath. Maybe you need to close your eyes and gaze at that space between your eyebrows. Keep breathing. And on the next 3 breaths, you can stay here. Maybe you take your hands back to the earth, or maybe you take your arms overhead in that reverse lock. Keep the shoulders down and back for 3 more breaths. Nice and steady on your gaze forward. Find a drishti either outside ahead of you, on the wall in front of you, or inside in between those eyebrows. 1 more breath in and out. Now bring those hands back down to midline, back down to the earth. Go ahead and walk back out to that nice, lovely 4 quadruped. So the 4 posts. From here, I want you to take and bring your one arm up. So you can start facing me, whatever arm that is. Start with the arm facing me, that you would As you lift that arm to the sky, you can see me, okay? We're here. Now notice your propensity to maybe push yourself back. Try to keep hips over knees and shoulder over hand. And maybe we now thread this hand through. So watch your thumb. Continue to thread it through. Now you're going to be facing away from me. We're going to settle our shoulder onto the earth. I'm going to turn my head back to you for just a moment. So you'll settle your shoulder just in case you need another angle here. It'll be like this. My head is on the earth. My shoulder's away from my ear. I have one hand still on the earth. That would have been the hand away from the camera for you. And maybe that hand presses into the earth a little bit, so it feels like you're trying to look over your top shoulder. And then you'll release that pressure, that extra spiral, to come all the way back up to where you were and look back up at that hand. Now we're going to add to that a little bit. So this time, maybe you take that hand that's on the top, bend the elbow, take the back of your hand, the bony side of your hand, place it in your waist. Use that hand to press the waist forward, open the heart. Look over that top shoulder. Take a breath in and out here. Toes are still tucked under if you're able to. It's a passive stretch for the foot. Reach the hand up now. And now do that thread through again. So you're going to thread right through. I'm going to change my angle again so you can settle down into that stretch. Try to keep your torso long out of your hips so you're not sitting back on your heels. That hand on the earth is going to gently push the floor away like you're trying to look over your top shoulder. Now maybe you keep that stretch, and maybe if it's available to you, you take that hand away from the earth. Bend the elbow, take the bony side of your hand into your waist, just like you did on the other side. But now this time, use it to help spiral you into this bind here in this low twist. And then you're going to bring that hand back to the earth. And then you're going to push yourself all the way back up, reaching overhead again, reaching overhead. And then settle that hand to the earth. We're going to repeat that on the other side. I'm going to switch sides. Keep an eye on you that way. Inhale, reach up. Now again, we tend to push ourselves back over our heels. Keep your hips over your knees. Reach. We're going to keep this first one a little smaller, a little more simple. You're going to thread through. As you thread through, you're going to sink the head to the earth, shoulders to the mat. See if you can increase length between shoulder and neck. And then the hand that's on the earth is just going to gently press into the floor. I'm changing my angle one more time, because now I can see you in the twist. So I'm here in case you need a glance. And this hand on the earth is pushing so I can look over that top shoulder. Breathing into the back. And now I'm going to push the floor away, come back up into the high stretch. But this time, this high hand, I'm going to bend the elbow, take the bony side of my hand into my waist and kind of push into my waist to pull that top elbow back and look over the shoulder, and try not to drop my hips back to my heels. Tucking the toes under for that extra foot stretch. It also serves as extra balance. Now reach that hand up high again. Take a deep breath in. On your exhale, as you draw your core up and away from your thighs, thread through, settle in. And this hand that's on the earth, again, gently press, look over that top shoulder. Try to stay equally balanced in both feet, by the way. And then take that hand high and bind. So we're just unraveling the week's work here. I know for me, I spent a lot of time at my desk. I know lots of people out there working digital, sitting in front of Zoom, sitting in front of meetings on their computer. We're starting to look like cavemen, right? So just trying to open up the shoulders, let them relax, bring that hand back down to the floor. Push yourself up. Remember, we're going to go all the way back up to reach for the sky. And then settle that hand back down. Good job. Now from here, we're going to do a little core work. And as you feel stretched out, it's time to get to work, folks. Tuck those toes under. Make sure you're nice and solid there. We're going to work on the transverse abdominis, which is a deep core muscle, one of the 4 top core muscles, right? The diaphragm, the pelvic floor, the transverse abdominis, and then the multifidi, which go up the spine, like lacings on a corset. The transverse being the corset itself. So take a deep breath in. On your exhale, without pushing through your feet as much as possible or bouncing through your legs, I want you to try to tighten the belt of your waist and see if you can tighten that belt of the waist with a good exhale to float those knees just a couple of inches off the floor. On your inhale, set them back down. Again, exhale, we float. Tightening the belt of the waist more than using a momentum or push of the legs. Exhale, we float. Inhale, settle back down. Exhale, you float. Inhale, settle back down. 2 more times. Exhale, float. Inhale, settle back down. And 1 more time, floating up. And settle back down. Good. Take your left leg out. And tuck that toe under nice and steady. I need to be on my mat a little bit better. And then take the right foot out to meet it. Ha, you're in a high plank. If you need to, go ahead and settle the knees down for a second. And then on your exhale, you go right back up in. If you can just hold the plank, go ahead and do that. Inhale, settle the knees down. Exhale, go right back up and in. Now, this knee variation is really great for people who have diastasis recti or pelvic floor dysfunction. Not all DR folks, diastasis recti folks, can do a plank. In fact, you should be checked by a professional. They need to lie down beside you and poke your belly while you're doing a plank to see if your linea alba is doing what it's supposed to do. Now, if you've been planking for a little while and you've not been using the knee, come down for a moment. Everyone go to child's pose, untuck the feet, flatten them. You can widen the knees if you need to. And just take a moment here. And to stretch those wrists, maybe you give me jazz hands and set them back down, or Beethoven piano hands and set them back down. If you have pelvic floor dysfunction or diastasis recti, again, you should be checked by a professional before doing lots of planking because it can be counterproductive. It can actually cause more intra-abdominal air pressure than your body can control and make it worse. For other folks, and we have no scientific evidence as to why yet, planking actually works to improve diastasis recti. Pelvic floor dysfunction, period. After about 10 seconds, the pelvic floor wants to tap out of planking. So if you have any pelvic floor weakness from hysterectomies, surgeries, abdominal surgeries, even for men, extra weight gain that you haven't been able to shake for years, or you've had some tough pregnancies that have left you with some pelvic floor issues, then you may want to take the knee variation, okay? It's a way to load the front core, but without overloading it. So we're going to take that leg out again. Now, really push the floor away with those hands, okay? Think about those shoulders hollowing out the armpits, and the hands are spread wide. You're not sitting all of your weight into your wrist. You're setting it into the thumb, middle finger, and pinky, okay? Opening up the meridians of the lungs and the heart. Then take the other leg out to meet it. Now, you're here for a moment. Take a deep breath in and out. On your inhale, if you have DR pelvic floor, you're going to float those knees down on the inhale. Breathe in deeply. On your exhale, you're going to float those legs long. Inhale, float the knees down. Exhale, float the legs long. If you're holding plank, you're going to breathe into the back. And then exhale, use those same corset muscles we used on the knee float to hug the spine. Inhale into the back. Exhale, hug the spine. Again, you can inhale, touch the knees. Exhale, float them right back up. Notice nothing changes with my spine. I'm just floating the knees down and then floating them right back up. We're going to do this 2 more times, by the way. 2 more breaths, everyone, no matter where you are. And then on this last one, we're going to float the knees down, but open them to the width of the mat. Untuck the feet. Sit back into a wide knees child's pose. But now this time, I want you to put the rails of the pinky edges on your mat, touch your palms together, really sink into your armpits, and let your forehead touch the floor. And take 3 deep breaths here. On your next inhale, flatten your hands on the earth. Go ahead and pull yourself back up into that quadruped position. Good. From here, take one knee, doesn't matter to me which side, but you're going to put it under you like a little pivot. Now, if you have knee issues and you need a little extra support, take your mat or a towel, whatever. But if you have a mat, just kind of fold it in, set your knee on that. Gives you a little extra cushion, but you don't want to use anything that has too much cushion here because it will make you feel too imbalanced. So a little bit of cushion, but not a lot. You got to find like your Goldilocks version of that. Now, hands go behind the head, or hands can go overhead. However, if you find that you're attaching your shoulders, I'd rather you be here and focus on the core. So notice this foot is actually pulling toes in instead of just out here somewhere. Toes come in so that the pinky edge is parallel with my mat. From here, I'm going to lean and exhale, pull up. Inhale, lean, and exhale, pull up. Notice my head is an extension of my neck and spine. I'm not letting my head drop. I'm not letting an ear drop to a shoulder. This is an opening of this rib cage away from this hip, and then close it. Inhale to lean, exhale to lift. Exhale to lift. 2 more times. And last one. Good. And now take that hand down to the earth, put all of your weight onto that knee, and then give me little lifts here of the leg. Just tiny little lifts. Don't have to be big. 4, 3, 2, hold at the top. Good. Point the toe. Now make little circles about the size of a saucer, a small plate, not a big plate. And then reverse that direction. Excellent. Now, set that foot back down. Bring your body weight back up over the knee. We're going to switch sides. So if you need to cushion the other side, do so. Set up your workspace. And then get that leg out there. Pinky edge is with the short end of the mat. Toes point in. Hands behind the head or hands overhead. And here again, we're going to lean on the inhale. Exhale, come back up. Inhale, we lean. Exhale, back up. Nice and steady. Now, if you guys have your favorite playlist, I've usually been known for my playlist. I love music, but I get into a lot of trouble with YouTube and Facebook with my music because I don't, have all the licenses and things. So if you have a favorite playlist, by all means play it. They're in your background. And if I can figure out how to play more of my playlist without getting into trouble, I will. I'm working on it. 2 more times. Or you can be in one of my private groups. I'll play what I want on those. Nobody can stop me. It's only when I'm streaming live. Now from here, you're going to bend. Take that hand to the earth. Good. You can be right here. You can keep this hand here behind your head. You can take it to your hips, and maybe you want to put that hand on the hip. You can really feel those obliques working. Even though it's a small movement, you should be able to feel that core kicking in. Of course, you can feel that outside hip pocket as well, I'm sure. Yay. And then you're going to hold at the top. Point the toe. Make little circles. So I also realized I probably need to paint my screen behind me because my skin tone is like the exact same color as the screen. And I feel like I'm camouflaged. And then reverse direction. We're figuring this out together, you guys. It's all good. All right, bring it back down. Excellent. From here, we're going to make our way onto the floor. So bring that foot in. And then the leg that was just long, cross it over so that you're in this little pretzel sit. Now, you should be on both sits bones. And you're going to pull this knee. So if you need to release this foot a little bit, you can. The bottom foot. But you want to be able to sit on both sits bones. Now, for some of you, that could be enough. And in fact, maybe this rocking feels pretty intuitive, where you're like, okay, maybe if I just rock through it a little bit. You have tight hips, maybe you're sitting at a desk too much, maybe your Netflix binge was a little too long, maybe your only form of exercise is like running or walking, which is all flexion extension, and these rotators get a little cranky then because they don't get enough attention. kind of like your middle child. So then take this knee, sit up nice and tall, bring the knee to the chest as much as you can. See if you can even give it in a good arm hook and then squeeze it in. Feels pretty good, right? So that foot might come off the floor of that knee you're squeezing. That's okay. I want you to sit up tall with it, so scrunching over. And then set the foot down on the floor, let the knee settle where it might. And you're going to turn towards that thigh. So think about bringing this shoulder towards your knee into the twist. So don't twist with it, twist towards it. You can set that tricep on that knee, tell the tricep to push the knee to push back, and maybe you lift up a little bit taller in this twist. If the hands need to be on the floor for stability, that's okay. Let your body guide you through these things. There's really no right or wrong. There's obviously sometimes room for improvement and opportunity, but meet your body where it's at always. We're going to switch legs. Sometimes we have to surrender to what is to achieve what's to become. All right, so let's pull that. It's pretty good. I should write that down, huh? All right, so sit up nice and tall. And again, maybe you need a rock. Sometimes just the rocking motion is really good for getting those bones to settle in around tight muscles, what might be tight, what might be loose. And then sitting up tall, balancing both sits bones, that knee, we now want to pull into the chest and give it a squeeze, give it a hug. Foot might float up. Sit up tall, try not to hunch over. We do enough hunching, thank you. And sit and breathe. Let that hip just digest. Maybe you find areas of tension that you can relax, like really think of surrendering any tension, settling in, and then set that foot down. Remember, we're going to turn towards the knee. So my chest is going to turn towards the high knee. That elbow comes to the opposite side. So I'm going to twist over and hook. Hands can come to the chest or hands to the earth if that feels better, but try to sit upright and be taller. Draw the abdominals up and away from those thighs that are twisted. And breathe. Maybe you look over your back shoulder. If I look over my back shoulder right now, I'll be rude. I won't be talking to you anymore. And then come back around through center. And bring those feet to touch sole to sole here in front of you. And now, here again, depending on the angle, right? There's no right or wrong. If you're like, it has to be in here, you're half wrong. And if you are like, no, it needs to be out here, you're also half wrong. Play with all the angles. All the angles are good. It's like a spice rack, right? Everybody has a different flavor. So you just want to play around with it. But rocking can be really nice, again, in a Baddha Konasana, right? So just rocking through the hips. Maybe you want to take a more Kundalini approach where you roll through it. One of my favorites, by the way, my favorite Kundalini exercise has become rolling through. And then you obviously want to do the other side. So you just roll through. You hold onto those ankles. And this is a deep core flexion back and then presenting the heart forward. And then settle in. Good. Give it a shake. Hips are now still, legs are shaking. Create a vibration. And even let those legs shake enough that you start to feel it up your spine. Like if I keep talking enough, you can maybe kind of hear the waver in the voice from where I'm shaking through the spine. And then release that shake. Take a nice deep breath in and a deep breath out. Let the legs settle wherever they are comfortable. Maybe that's a slight cross of the ankles, whatever. Inhale, reach the hands up. On your exhale, bring one hand down. Doesn't matter to me which side, just pick one. Give it a nice big stretch to the side. Maybe that forearm settles to the earth, but both sits bones should stay on the earth. And then to the other side. And yep, one side might be different than the other. Come back through center, take a deep breath in. On your exhale, go ahead and float those hands down to heart center. You are all done with today's Friday flow. I hope it left you feeling rejuvenated, stretched out, and ready to relax and enjoy your weekend. If you'd like, I am offering Sangha Yoga tomorrow, which means a gift. It's free, just like today. So Join me on YouTube or Facebook Live for yoga tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's an hour-long class, all yoga. So hopefully I'll see you then. Happy Friday. Hi, Jenny and Heather. Hey, guys. Saying bye to YouTube over here.